Hi, this is Craig from Nothing, and this is our new single, The Shroud. Back to you, Kris.
Thank you very much, Craig. Pleasure to have you on the show again.
Nice to see you again, mate. We always seem to leave lengthy gaps in between our conversations.
We do, but it always gives us something to talk about when we do catch up.
Exactly. That's the plan. I'm just planning ahead, mate.
Man, indeed. So, as you mentioned, Nothing, you're preparing to unleash your latest single, The Shroud, on April 20th via YouTube, and it was out today, April the 11th on Spotify. So tell us a bit about the song musically and what you've done for with it.
So this is the third single in our 5-part concept series, Self Repair Manifesto. And this song is about revealing deception and revealing evil intent. So the shroud almost encapsulates a figure that is that evil intention. So we wanted this song to be really aggressive, definitely our heaviest song of this series, real black metal vibe to it. And we just wanted it to be a real punch in the face and real unbridled aggression that sort of encapsulates, the evil that we're describing.
Yeah, very cool. And as you mentioned, like the Spotify came out today on April the 11th and the YouTube videos on April the 20th. So why stagger the releases like that?
Mate, it's just the way it's worked out. There wasn't really a whole lot of foresight to it. We went with Black Ruse, and then they sort of came up with a release schedule for us. And we thought, do we wait and just let the clip go and then do the audio first? But we thought, look, let's just go hell for leather. We've got our audience on Spotify, and we want to try and attract a bigger audience on YouTube, and then using your good self to help spread the word. So I think let's just assault on all angles and try and generate as much hype as we can for this track.
Great. So you touched on this a little bit before, but let's delve into it a bit deeper. Like, about lyrically, like what sort of story does this song take?
So this song, we're really delving into. So the EP is essentially about surviving a toxic and a narcissistic relationship, and I think this song really delves into the antagonist and really delves into the evil intentions behind the antagonist, and revealing, lifting the veil of perceived deception to reveal the true evil, the true nature of the antagonist character. And yeah, I think we wanted this being the middle, sort of the middle of the EP, the third song. We wanted it to really have some aggression and drive it home. The other tracks have a bit more of a groove to them, a bit more progression. We wanted this to really be, an aggressive, a fast-paced song, and I think we definitely achieved that.
And the film for it too, like it's pretty full on, bro. I've seen it, like full on in parts. So what story is that trying to tell? Is that going along with the lyrics?
It is, yeah. Like we always, doing clips, you always want to do something a little bit different. And so our last track, Subterfuge, was set, in sort of a barren west, and we wanted to contrast with a bit of perceived opulence. The antagonist in his character, his story, on the facade of opulence, it's on the facade of wealth. But beneath that veil is some fairly dirty evil. So what we found this beautiful space called Mannerism Studio that has that beautiful antique sort of vintage feel to it that creates a nice contrast to what we did with the last clip. And then you'll see in the clip we actually have an evil figure cloaked in a shroud that's manipulating us and sort of putting forth that evil intention. And we got some pretty cool effect where we get to sort of be infected by the evil, and that almost inspires us to play the song.
Right, that's really cool. And we mentioned that it's taken Self Repair Manifesto, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's been out for a few years.
So the Self Repair Manifesto, the opening track, the self-titled track, came out in 2018, and then Subterfuge, the second chapter, we released in 2020, and that was after sort of coming out of lockdown. So we had that on hold for quite a while, and then the Shroud we've just released now. That's taken a bit longer to get together with, lots of things in life sort of taking up time and space. But we have the fourth chapter called Dirge ready to go. We're just waiting to put together a clip for that with an aim of releasing that in August. And then we hope to have the final chapter, Abrogation, ready by the start of next year. We want to release as much material as we can this year. So we've got that ready to go. And then we'll do a physical collection of the 5 tracks. And then we're actually going to re-release our 2016 EP, which we've been remastering and reworking. So we want to get a lot of content out there this year to almost to make up for how long it takes us to get the last 3 tracks out.
Yeah, cool. So when you started on this concept, mate, like, can you run us through the whole concept overall? Because it's very ambitious, but it's very relevant, I think, to a lot of places in the world today.
Yeah, it was just when we were coming up with the way we come up with ideas and songs. We're a jam band. We don't have anyone writing complete songs and sort of bringing whole songs to the table. Everything we do in the room collaboratively. And so we had a few pieces that we were working on, and we just started talking about, where do we feel like, I don't know, I guess what emotions are these riffs and this music stirring within us? Where do we feel it going? And at the time, I was sort of, witnessing someone go through a pretty horrific narcissistic relationship. So it was weighing heavy on my mind because I felt a bit powerless to help. And that sort of started to formulate this idea of capturing a storyline of someone going through that and having to really summon the strength to fight against the odds to, I guess, reclaim their life and put together the pieces that were broken. So that started formulating, that's normally how I work when we go into writing. I'll start to put together a storyline, and then we'll break it down and piece it together from that. And at the time, I was very influenced by the Divine Comedy, which is some fairly impressive Italian poetry, also known as Dante's Inferno. So I started taking the ideas of these stages of hell and fuse those ideas together, and hence the Self Repair Manifesto was born.
Right. So over the course of the 5 songs, like, does it go through different stages of the journey? Like, is the final stage going to be a resolution?
Yeah, absolutely is. The final stage is resolution. So, it goes from sort of realizing the situation that you've been in to taking making the decision to fight for your survival, revealing the evil. The next song is in Dirge, we're going to have some confrontation, and then in the final track, Abrogation, will be the resolution. So it definitely follows the thematic journey. I try to be a little bit more cryptic in the lyrics, but I think when you see all 5 songs together and hear all 5 songs together, you'll definitely be able to piece together the journey.
And like, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like, I know you do love your writing music and stuff. So this has been done for a while. Have you started writing anything for the future yet?
We do. We've got probably 3 or 4 tracks in the works already for the next EP. It's always funny in this day and age trying to work out what is the best way to release music. We took this path of just releasing singles because I guess we were questioning, with the way music is taken in these days in the digital medium, do people really buy albums anymore? Do they listen to albums anymore? Do people just digest singular songs? So we made the decision to release 5 singles and use the chance to create clips and really generate as much attention and publicity around them as possible. The downside being that's a very costly and time-consuming endeavor. So I think the next one we might just go for a collective 5-song EP. But we've definitely, we've always got material in the works, and the next batch of songs is taking on a different feel again. And it's always exciting to see what we're going to come up with and where we're going to go. And we've sort of tapped into something with this next collection of songs. So yeah, it's fun. We love the songwriting process, and we're really excited about where this next batch of songs is going.
Well, before we sort of talk about the new batch of songs, we still have got something current to promote. So you've got a single launch coming up on April 8th at the Bendigo Hotel. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're releasing the Shroud in its live capacity, April 28th at the Bendigo Hotel, with Stormtide, Carthus, and Ascarian. And we've had the pleasure of playing with some of those guys before, and they always bring a killer show. And you want to play with bands that force you to lift your game. And I think those guys will do that. Everyone's really, really excited for the gig. The Bendigo's always been so great to metal in Melbourne. It's the unofficial home of metal in Melbourne. And with the neighbour down the road, the Tote, struggling to stay afloat, it'd be great to see people not only support the Tote, but get down to the Bendigo on April 28th and support metal in Melbourne, and hear the Shroud unleashed in its live format.
Do you play all 5 songs when you play live, or do you not play the ones you haven't released yet?
We don't play the unreleased ones yet. We might start to sneak Dirge in before, depending on what we end up booking for the next few months. We sometimes will chuck it in just for us to get a feel of how it works live, and to see how it feels with the rest of the songs, and just to make sure that we're as sharp as possible when we do come to release it. But we've got our sort of our set list at the moment that has the first 3 songs of the EP, and then a couple of our older songs that, as I said, we'll be re-releasing. And then by August, when we're ready to drop Dirge, that'll definitely be in the set list, with the goal being obviously to play the EP in its entirety.
Beautiful. All right, great. Well, thanks very much for your time, mate. Always a pleasure speaking with you. The Shroud is out now on Spotify. It'll be out video clip on April the 20th, and I've had the pleasure of checking out the clip, and she's a cracker, mate. So well done, but best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much, mate. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for always supporting us and always being a champion of metal.